Hey everyone, my name is Heba and welcome back, and it's good to be back. This is my first video back playing with makeup since I started doing those travel vlogs. And I'll link those videos down below if you want to check them out, but it feels good to be sitting here playing with makeup with you guys. And what better brand to use for my first video back is by Chanel. I did pick up the two new limited edition eye and cheek palette that they released, I believe, a month ago, and I believe now it's on their website. But again, it's the two new limited edition, the eyeshadow and blush palette, 957 Tendresse and 958 Caractère. And I know I'm saying them wrong. So here's what the palettes look like. They are oversized, and I'll do a little comparison here. But again, these are limited edition, and these do cost $90. $90. Let's start with 957 Tendresse. This is the lighter of the two. And let me show you some swatches of this one on my arm. As you can see, it's a little light. And then here is 958 Caractère. And the swatches here, a little light too, but it is deeper than 957. Again, it's limited edition, but I'm pretty sure it's still going to be around for a while. I don't think they're going to sell out. That's just my opinion because I don't know. We'll get to that at the end of this video after we try it on. But I think if you're looking for this, it's probably still going to be available. But these are shades that you can use for eyeshadows or for blush. And I think one of them you could use as a kind of like a bronzer, but this one in 957, it's just too light for me to use as a bronzer. So let me show you what a regular size eyeshadow palette looks like. So here's a regular eyeshadow palette, and here's the limited edition eyeshadow and cheek palette. So yeah, it's quite big. There it is. And then let's compare it to this one. This is another, I believe, limited edition, the Healthy Glow Sun-Kissed powder, and it's pretty much the same size. Yeah, pretty much the same size. And this was in the shade Sunbath Deep, and that's what this one looks like. It's what I use for a bronzer. I really do like this one. And then let's compare the size to this one. It's the Oversized Illuminating Face Powder, and this is in the shade Or Rose. Let me show you what this one's. Very pretty for highlighting powder. Has that pretty embossing. And then here's the eyeshadow palette, so it's pretty much the same size. The net weight for the eye and cheek palette, this one has 0.42 net weight ounce compared to the regular eyeshadow palette. This one's just 0.07 ounce of product in here. So you can see that you are getting a lot more product here. Now with the Sun-Kissed powder, you do get a little bit more than the face palette. You get 0.53 ounce. And with the illuminating powder, you're getting a little bit more from that. You're getting 0.56. So even though it's the same size palette in this one, you're just getting a little bit less of product in the face and cheek palette, but I'm sure that's because, you know, there's spacing in between the four different shades, whereas these, you're getting one big circle in these compared to getting four smaller circles than this one, but bigger circles than the original eyeshadow palette. I hope that wasn't too confusing. It was confusing for me. Now I did a look with each palette using the shades for eyeshadows and for blushes, and we'll get into that shortly. And spoiler alert, it's not my favorite look to use with these shades, with these color stories. One thing I do like about it is it's kind of pleasing to the eye with the oversized circles. I kind of like that. Comparing it to the smaller circles. I don't know, I just kind of like looking at these. So how I did this video, I used 957 first, Tendresse, and I talked through it. Used it as eyeshadows and used it as blushes. And then for this look, I used 958 Caractère, also as eyeshadows and blushes. And then I swatched the shades on my arm before I played with the palette with each look. And then after I show you this look that I did with 958, we'll do a little comparison with the two palettes and with some other eye shades that I have, with some other eyeshadows that I have. So all right, let's go ahead and go in with 957, and I'll see you on the other side. I'm going to use 957 Tendresse first, and I hope I'm saying it right. Tendresse. I believe that means tenderness, I think. When you open it up, there is a little card in here. It just has a picture of a face, and it says it's an eyeshadow and blush palette. It does have a plastic cover. Having the big circles, it's very pleasing to me. I don't know why. This one's the lighter of the two, and I hope that will show up on my lids. Let me go ahead and swatch these. Okay, so here are the four shades in this palette. Yeah, they do look a little light. I mean, this shade doesn't even show up on my skin tone, so it is more like my skin tone, but let's play with it. I think it's going to be pretty as blushes. I don't know about eyeshadows. That's just what I'm thinking, but we're still going to try to put some on the eyes. And for eyeshadow primer, I'm going to use the concealer by Clé de Peau, and this is in the shade Hazelnut. Let's go in with this shade and see how this will show up. There's a hint of color. I think it also depends on the type of brush that you use. If you're going to use a fluffy brush, the pigment may not show up. This one is by units. This brush right here, the number 307. This one's a little bit more stiffer, and it's a synthetic bristle brush. Okay, looks like I have something on my lids, but it's probably something to set the concealer with. So let me go ahead and place that shade all over my lid just to kind of set the concealer, then might as well. Now let's go into this peachy shade, and I'm using the same brush. Place you in the outer corner just to kind of see the pigment. Slightly there, and also kind of bring that in my crease to the inside. I mean, yeah, this palette is kind of light for me to use as eyeshadows. Yeah, I'm just trying to pack it on, build it up. It's not coming. Let me try a stiffer brush. Let me try this one by Sonia G. It is a little bit more of a stiffer brush. It's like a pencil brush, and it's called the Detail. So let me use this brush. Yeah, that one gives me a little bit more color payoff. And I can see a little bit of a sheen with this shade. Okay, that's what I got from those two shades. Using that same brush, and I'm going to go in with this deeper shade, and let's pack you on the outer lid and see what we get. And I'm going to go ahead and place that all over my lid. All right, let me try my finger. Let me go in with my finger this time and see what we can get. Okay, a little bit more pigment here with my finger, but I don't know, for my skin tone and for what I like, we'll see. We'll keep playing, we'll keep playing. Let me just try to use this light shade here, the light tan shade, and just kind of blend that all together in my crease. Now for this shimmer shade, where should I put you? Let me try putting you in the center. Okay, I'm gonna go back into that deeper shade just to kind of deepen the outer corner just a little bit. I mean, that's all I'm gonna get. Well, all right, let me go ahead and put some makeup on, and I'll come back and use these shades as blushes. Hopefully they'll be a lot better. For underneath my eyes, I just went with the two deeper shades here and just placed them underneath my eyes. And then I went with a brown liner, I believe it's by Meadow, and I placed that underneath my eyes too and just kind of blend it out. And also put that shade in my waterline. Now I noticed that my black eyeliner may be a little off because when I was doing them, I noticed one was a little bit thicker, so then I tried to go back to this side. This side got thicker, and then this side, so I said, okay, let me just stop it before it could get way out of hand. I hope they at least look even, but they are a little bit thicker. But anywho, let's go ahead and use this palette as a blush. Now, let me just try using this shade first. Now I did put a bronzer on. This is the one by Charlotte Tilbury, and the foundation that I'm using is by Chanel, the Sublimage foundation. But let me just see what I can do with that. Actually, that's not bad. Can't use it as a bronzer, that's for sure, but it does give me like a little bit of a soft blush. And I didn't mean to put it on both sides, but since it's kind of light, I think it would be okay. So now I'm gonna go in with this peachy shade, and I'm gonna place that one on this side. A little bit more. You know, it's pretty, but it just, I don't know, it's just too light for me. I mean, it can go for, you know, like a soft flush look, but it's okay. It's okay. Now let me go in with this deeper shade. Let me go in one more time. Now this one is a little bit more pigmented than the one I placed on this side, that peachy shade. And this one's not bad, but at least you can kind of see the difference. This is the peachy shade, the lighter one, and this is the deeper one. Now let me go in with this shimmer shade and use that one as a highlight on both sides. Okay, that one's not bad. That one's showing up. Place it on the apples of my cheeks. Hopefully it'll make my cheeks a little fuller. Let me go ahead and place this shimmer shade underneath my brows. All right, and I think I am finished with this look. What do you think? It's not my favorite. I could tell you right now, it's not my favorite. The eyeshadows, it's pretty. It does have a soft look, kind of like an everyday look, but it took me a long time to build it up. And when you want an everyday look, you don't want to spend a lot of time packing the shadow on. So using this as eyeshadows for me and my skin tone, not my favorite look. Even though I do have a thick eyeliner going on here, but not my favorite. Just to be honest. Now to use these shades as blushes and a highlighter, they're not bad. They're not bad. The deeper one is prettier and the lighter one is nice too. That can go for like a soft look. Maybe the next time I'll get a brush and just kind of swirl it all around in the 4 shades there and see what kind of look that will come up. Let me try that on this side since this one's kind of light. Let me just go in and see how that will look. Give me a little bit more color. And it's not as kind of harsh as this deeper one here. So if I'm going to use this one, I'm going to use it mostly as for blushes, not for eyeshadows. No. So in the next part of this video, I'll be using the deeper palette 958 Caractère. I believe that's how you say it. And hopefully this one shows up a lot better on my lids than 957 Tendresse. Well, all right, let's go to that one now. Now let's go for the deeper one, 958 Caractère. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And I hope that it shows up a lot better than 957 Tendresse. They'll have it in its box, and this is what it looks like. Typical, you know, Chanel packaging. Same packaging as 957 with the same card letting us know what it is with a plastic cover. And I don't know, I do like the oversized pans. It's very, I don't know, very pleasing. But yeah, this one is a little bit deeper. Let me just compare the two right now, side by side. So here is 957 and this is 958. So you can see that it is deeper. Let's see here. 2 shades look a little similar, I'm seeing. This one and this one up here. Maybe just a slight difference, but let me swatch the deeper one and then I'll do a little comparison swatch later. All right, so here are the swatches of 958, the deeper palette. Okay, these do show up a little bit better on my arm. I don't know, these two even look similar. What do you think? All right, let's go ahead and apply them on my eyes and see what we can come up with. Maybe these might be better for blushes, but I don't know for eyeshadows, but I'm still gonna try it so you can see. So I'm priming my eyes with the Hourglass eyeshadow primer. Should have went in with the concealer that I used from Clé de Peau in the last look, but let's just try something different. Let's go in with this top shade here and put that in my crease and outer corner. Yeah, this one does show up a lot better than the shade that I use from 957. Now let me go in with this shade. Place that in the outer corner. Using the same brush. Okay, I have to say this, so far with the shades that I've been using from these 2 palettes, using them as eyeshadows, not my favorite. I don't know if it's the color story or the formula. Maybe both. Kind of hard to build up. Now I'm going to go in with this deep shade, and I want to say that this one is the deeper one. I want to say that, but let's just place you on the lid. Yeah, it doesn't look to be deep. I think these will be pretty as blushes, and we're going to try that after I finish putting the rest of my makeup on, especially the eye makeup. But, oh, there's a little bit of shimmer, I think, left over on this brush. And it just seems to be a little spotty. Kind of look sick, don't I? That's what happens when I try red shades as eyeshadows. Okay, let's just keep going. It's not going to be a good eye look because it's taking me a long time to build up. You can see that it just looks muddy and look kind of splotchy there. It just looks like one shade. Let's see what happens when I use this shimmer shade. Got some nice pigment, but let's just place you. Let me just cover up that red shade because it's just not making me look good. Okay, that is a pretty golden shade, but you know, I'm sure we have many shades like this in our collection. Let me go in with this shade here and just kind of pack the outer corner and the middle. Just kind of fuse those 2 shades together. I think that's all I'm gonna do. There's not more I could do with these shades. All right, let me clean up this area. There is a little bit of fallout with that shimmer shade. Yeah, but let me go ahead and clean up this area, put the rest of my makeup on. Oh, there's a cat hair. And then we'll use these as blushes, and let's hope it's a lot better than using them as eyeshadows. Here's the finished eye look, and with this one, I made sure I didn't line it too thick like I did with the last look. So I just have a thin black liner on my top lash line. Underneath my lash line, I just put this lighter shade and this shade in the outer corner. And then I used a brown liner underneath my eyes and in my waterline. Because I think if I used any of these shades, it would just make me look more sickly. That's just my opinion, but yeah, I went with brown instead of red. Honestly, this kind of looks like the last look that I did with the other palette, 957. Maybe a little bit deeper, but the colors just kind of blend in together. You can't see the three matte shades that I placed in the outer corner. The gold shimmer shade is very pretty. It's very smoothing on the eyes. It's not very chunky, which is nice, but I'm sure I've got other shades that are similar to this in my collection. But using this palette, or the other palette for that matter, for eyeshadows, not my favorite. But let's go ahead and try this one as blush. Now let's see here. Let me go in with this lighter shade and just kind of, I don't know, maybe use it as a bronzer. See what that would look like. I didn't put a bronzer on this time because I figured since these shades are a little bit deeper, I can get away with using this shade as a bronzer. Oh, wait, I did use a bronzer on my forehead. The Chanel, excuse me, the Chanel bronzer, this one right here, in the shade Sunbath Deep. Can't really see it in the mirror, but I can see it on camera. But in the mirror, it's kind of transparent, I have to say. And we're just gonna put it on both sides since it is kind of light. It's not gonna really make a difference on me. Now I'm going to go in with this deeper shade and just kind of place that more towards the back. Okay, I think I need to build that up a little bit more. It's very subtle on me. It does look a little skin-like, which is nice. Okay, still building it up here. What do you think? Yeah, me too. Now let me go in with this one. This seems to be a little bit brighter. So let's see it on this side. Put you in the back. Okay, it can't be the brush because this is my favorite brush by Sonia G, but it's just not putting a lot of pigment on my cheek. Okay, I'm starting to see something, but I don't know. Let me put you on the apples on this side. I think if anything, the one shade that I do like from this palette is this one right here, especially for a blush. This one's kind of pretty on, but you have to keep building it up. Okay, I think that is it for blush. Now let me use this shimmer shade as a highlighter. I mean, this one is pretty. This one is pigmented. It does give you the color payoff. All right, I think that is all I'm gonna do with this palette. I mean, I think this is the most I'm gonna get from it. So let me just build the swatches up because when I changed my clothes, it did kind of come off. And let's do a little comparison with the two. So this one is the one I'm using right now on my face, 958. And let's go in with 957 and swatch that. Okay, so here's 957. So 958, 957. This one's a deeper one. Look at that, which is this one right here. And I thought that one was similar to, let's see, I'm gonna have to hold it like this. This one. Let me switch sides. So yeah, these two, I thought these would be similar, but not so much swatched. So it'd be this one compared to this one swatched. Okay, but the other three from 957, it's just too light for me. These are okay, but it's just not deep enough for me. Not like this one. Look at that. Now let me see if I can find some comparison. I do have these two eyeshadow palettes. It's a little bit more red based, kind of like these, but in the eyeshadow packaging, the smaller one. And these came out, I believe, a couple years ago. This one's number 372, Bouquet Ambre. And here is what that one looks like. Let me compare that to 957. But let me swatch them here. Let's see. So here's 372 Bouquet Ombre. It's a little bit more pigmented than these, and it only has one matte compared to the other three are shimmers. And this one's 388 Golden Meadow, so it does have a gold shimmer here, so let's try that. Let me compare you to 378. Okay, maybe a little bit similar there. All right, so here's number 372 Golden Meadow. Let me swatch that gold shade next to this one here. Very similar in texture. I think this one's a little bit brighter than the one from the big palette. but it's similar. And I think this shade, let me swatch you next to, in this one, between these two. That one's similar too. So I do have some similar shades that I have from the other eyeshadow palettes. I don't think I'll be using these as blushes because for one, the pan size is just too small. And I prefer the original Chanel blush formula. That's just my opinion. This formula, this baked formula, it's not my favorite. So these two palettes, I'm gonna be honest here, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite color story and it's not my favorite formula. It's just, I don't know, it's just not me. But if you like these shades for your eyes, you know, that's fine, that's fine. But for me, spending $90 for one palette, granted it is bigger size, for the color story, the color payoff, how it looks on me, it's not worth it. I'm gonna say it, it's not worth it. The one thing I do like about it are the pan size, because I think it's very pleasing to see. I mean, when you compare it with the original eyeshadow palette, I don't know, this is just nice to look at. But in my opinion, for me, it's not worth $90 for these eye and cheek palette, especially $9.57. This one's just too light for me. And then $9.58, not my favorite. The only shade that performed the best, I think, was, let's see here, this one as a blush and this one as a shimmer shade. But as you can see that I have something similar. This one right here, 368 Golden Meadow. Very similar. Maybe just slightly different, but it's very similar. And then that matte shade that was also from Golden Meadow, very similar. So unfortunately, the first video back playing with makeup, it is Chanel. We all love Chanel, but these two palettes, not my favorite. Not my favorite, I will have to say that. Well, alright you guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video, and it's good to be back playing with makeup here with you guys. Fortunately, it didn't work out, but like I said, it's okay, it's okay. But I sure hope that you enjoyed and liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos like this. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.